Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my Gley build, which I do have ready for season 3. Now season 3 launches this Thursday, and we are going to be live streaming over on Twitch, so if you guys want to stop by and say hi, definitely do so. It'd be fun to see you guys live in person. But today we're talking Gley, so let's jump into it and see kind of how she works. Now, before I jump into the explanation of all the different mods, if you guys are just looking for screenshots, you guys can jump to this timestamp right here. I put together a bunch of graphics for you guys, and if you do have any questions, you can ask down in the comments or scroll through the video. I'm pretty sure I'm going to answer one of your questions throughout the actual video, but enjoy the screenshots. Let's jump into the build. Now, when it comes to building Gley, you want to build into a gun build. She is a gun Descendant, and she can actually offer infinite ammo, which is extremely powerful in this game. Being able to grab something like the Restored Relic and just run around and shoot it infinitely is pretty nuts, and that's exactly what this build can do. Now, when it comes to using a Transcendent mod, she does have a ton of options, and there is some really good builds for each one, but the one that we're going to strictly be focusing on is going to be Predator Instinct. This is extremely good if you're going to be using weapons that deal firearm attack damage, such as the Thunder Cage or the Last Dagger or anything like that. However, the caveat is that this does not give you any benefits to explosive damage, which is what we're going to be building into. We're building into the Restored Relic rocket launcher, and we want to be benefiting in explosive damage versus anything else. However, if you aren't going to be using a rocket launcher, then definitely pop this on. This is one of those, you take this off or put it on depending on what gun you're using. So if you're using firearm attack guns, put on Predator Instinct. If you're using an explosive attack gun, such as a rocket launcher, then take this off. All right, now that we talked about the Transcendent mods and you guys understand when and when not to use Predator Instinct, we need to focus on skill cooldown and skill duration up. Now, the reason that we need to do that is because we can basically make it to where we can loop her third ability on cooldown continuously, and when every time you activate it, you are going to be giving yourself infinite ammo. Now, in order to get to those cooldown numbers, we want to be rocking the dynamic duo of Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion. I say this in every video. These guys are going to be in every build, so get used to them. These two alone gives you a huge bump to your skill cooldown, but we can push it a little bit further by adding on Focus on Non-Attribute and Focus on Dimension in this build. Now, you don't need to be leveling these two up. You don't have to have maxed out versions of these. You can just use the base level 1 versions of both of these mods, because the only thing we're going to be using from them is that additional skill cooldown that's tacked onto the end. We aren't going to be using skill power in this build, so these aren't super helpful, except for the fact that they're giving us that little bump in skill cooldown. This gets my third ability's cooldown on a 7.3 second cooldown, and the duration lasts 10.1 seconds. So we can actually infinitely loop that ability and always have infinite ammo. Now, if you guys have played Gley, you know that she does not use MP. She actually pulls from her HP. So the next two mods we're going to be rocking are going to be benefiting us and keeping us alive. Those mods are going to be Increased HP as well as Battle of Stamina. These two give us a 340.8% bump to our max HP. But the cool thing about Battle of Stamina is it also gives us a little bit of skill duration, which we're wanting to lean into skill duration. So I feel like Battle of Stamina was just kind of made for Gley, to be honest. But both fantastic mods, gives you a ton of health, gives you a ton of life, and you actually are going to be using that HP to activate all of your skills. Now, speaking of skill duration, we are going to be rocking skill extension as well as maximize duration. These two mods in tandem with Battle of Stamina gives us a skill duration of 85.3%, which is absolutely massive. This in tandem with the skill cooldown makes it to where we do have that infinite loop. So just make sure on your third ability, your cooldown is a lower number than your duration of maximized lethality. If that is the case, then it is perfect. You will actually be able to constantly keep that infinite ammo. As long as you're frenzied and you are constantly clicking your third ability every, 10 seconds or so, then boom, you have infinite ammo. You should be good to go. Now, how do we take those weapons and make them deal a crap ton of damage? We have the infinite ammo. We have the constant loop. How do we make them deal damage? Well, the obvious choice is going to be Shot Focus. Shot Focus gives us a huge bump into our firearm attack. And yeah, we do lose some skill power modifier, but like I said, that is irrelevant in this build. So just throwing this on gives us an additional 15% firearm damage. Super, super helpful. And to round off the entire build, we're going to be using Walk a Tightrope. The mod reads, when HP is 50% or lower, your skill power modifier is plus 30%, as well as your firearm attack and explosive attack are also plus 30%. The reason this is so good is because you already are losing health, 1 by taking damage and 2 by using your abilities because we are playing Gley, but also this gives a benefit to both firearm attack as well as explosive attack weapons. I think honestly this mod was made for Gley. I mean, it fits so well with her playstyle, it makes so much sense. It is a very good mod and I highly recommend it. And then of course midair maneuvering, that's a given. All right, guys, here is the build entirely. And remember the caveat, Predator Instinct can be taken off or put on depending on what type of gun you're using. I kind of explained that in the screenshots, so if you do need to grab those, go ahead. Put this on when you're using something like Last Dagger, Thunder Cage, Malevolent, anything that deals firearm attack damage. You're going to pop this on because you get a bigger benefit of damage in the long run. Take this off if you are going to be using anything that deals explosive damage, like the Restored Relic. So just keep that in mind. But let's jump over into all of the weapons and check out what we're rocking. Okay, so when it comes to the guns, you can't really go wrong here. She makes all guns just better. I mean, this gun is really good, but if it had infinite ammo, it's a lot better. Something like the Restored Relic with infinite ammo is just kind of silly. So just, use whatever guns you want. I will be suggesting some guns, obviously, but just use whatever guns you want. As for some of the guns that I've been using with her recently that I've actually been really liking, the Thunder Cage, man. The Thunder Cage, I think, is back, dude. If you guys want a really good Thunder Cage build, please go check out my boy SongsOfRaze over on YouTube. He is a fantastic first Descendant creator. Actually, the reason that I got back into content creation was because of him. So please go give him a subscribe. Go check out his channel. Go check out his Thunder Cage build. That's the exact build I'm using, and I'm still kind of working on all the cores and trying to make it to the best of its ability. But I gotta say, man, the Thunder Cage has been really fun to use recently. Kind of takes me back to like the first couple of months of the game where everyone was using the Thunder Cage, and I kind of get that nostalgia feel. So rocking the Thunder Cage today. A couple of different cores you want to put on it are obviously going to be your like electric attack, a firearm attack. You want it to be dealing critical damage. You can up its fire rate. You can up its sprint speed. You can honestly up its recoil. You can do so many different things with this. And I'm not going to touch on it too much because I really need you guys to go check out my boy SongsOfRaze. His channel, his guide, his video on this gun is so helpful. Like, I've been playing with this on a lot of different characters, and I'm actually having a blast playing with some of the guns that I haven't been using in a while because they're not quote unquote meta or they have bad cores, but they're still fantastic options. So go check out his build. I will say here is the build in and of itself. You got a bunch of different types of helpful things. One of which I will say this is actually the caveat. Sweeping Squad is something that I decided to put on. I believe he was rocking Firing Fiesta, which is really cool in and of itself, but Gley has infinite ammo, so I don't need a mod that gives me infinite ammo when I already have that capability in my kit. So I swapped that for Sweeping Squad, just, whatever. But you guys can see up here, SongsOfRaze, that's his channel. Go give him a sub. This is what we're rocking. If you guys are interested, you can kind of screenshot all you want, but you have all your different usual suspects in any sort of gun build. You got your increase to your firearm attack. You have your electric attack, which this gun actually just received electric damage to it. Don't know why that wasn't on there to begin with, but this actually got a additional electric power thrown onto the gun, so now we can kind of capitalize on that even more. You got more critical attack rate, critical damage. You have more weak point damage, fire rate, more damage, more fire damage. It's all the usual suspects to make your gun deal a lot more damage. The only thing I want to really mention is Sweeping Squad. If you are using this with Gley, rock Sweeping Squad, because when defeating an enemy, your firearm attack is increased by 10.6 for 5 seconds at 100% chance up to 3 stacks. So basically, you can get like a 30% increase to your damage over 5 seconds just for killing things. So Sweeping Squad's very good for Gley, but you can also rock Firing Fiesta. But go check out his channel and go check out his video. He explains it a lot better than me. As for the other two weapons, there's a lot of different things you can use here. She basically makes all guns better with being the fact that you can make all your guns have infinite ammo. So the last dagger is really, really strong. You can also use something like Restored Relic. You guys, you saw that I had Malevolent equipped, but I've shown Malevolent a lot. So you can use Malevolent. You can honestly use anything. Anything is really good with her. The last dagger specifically is really strong in like Purge. For, you know, that boss at the end. You can make this thing have infinite ammo and then just kind of go to town, cook him down. You got your chill attack, you got your firearm attack buffs. I rock personally rounds per mag, but you can also increase fire rate here if you wanted with the green cores. And then you have your typical, you know, firearm attack, weak point, firearm critical hit damage, and bonus to Colossus. I ran out of materials, that's why they have a blue one, but that's okay. I'll get these all gold eventually. That's the fun part of this game, the grind, you know. Eventually, I'll get the good stuff. But then we are pushing into Mental Focus. Now, Mental Focus is really strong for Gley specifically because I can keep the benefits from the actual perk itself. Because I do have infinite ammo, I'm not removing the effect when I reload because I'm not reloading. So you can actually get that 150 stacks and you can keep that 150 stacks and just give yourself a ton of firearm attack. So Mental Focus is definitely one of the better go-to ones here. But you have your typical builds. Just throw all these on and the gun will work for you, honestly. You got your chill stuff. You got all just, you know, increases to all the basic stuff. You guys know what all the mods do. Overwhelm, however, is actually really good for Purge as well. Because I am using the gun into chill attack, Overwhelm kind of kicks in and gives me those additional advantage damage modifiers, just because I am using a gun that is the enemy's weakness, if that makes sense. I have advantage over my enemy, therefore it becomes stronger. So Mental Focus is really, really strong on this actual build for Gley. And then, of course, the Restored Relic, the big boy. I'm building this thing into multi-chance, multi-hit, and multi-damage is what I meant. It's really good for multi-hit. It's just super strong. You don't really need to do anything else except just pop your infinite ammo and then just kind of shoot the Restored Relic. It's pretty nuts. But we are rocking 3 fire rate cores on this just to give it an crazy fire rate. And then 2 chill attacks. And then for our substats, we have chill attack, multi-hit chance, explosive attack damage, and then multi-hit damage. So building it into multi-hit, of course, there's a couple of different ways to build Restored Relic. This is just how I've found to work the best for me. So we're building into, you know, our chill. We have a bunch of different multi-hit mods on here that's going to give us that additional damage or additional chance, and vice versa. You don't need this thing to crit, so you don't need to worry about the negative effects on these. We also have, you know, increased radius. We have more explosive radius as well as ammo, which the ammo is not really relevant. It is, but it isn't, because I also use this on Enzo. As you can see, I have Enzo up here. And so you do want ammo on some things and not on others. But it's also just good to have reserves just in case you forget to activate your ability on loop. You have your fire rate up for just more fire rate. And then, of course, explosive attack damage for rifling reinforcements and action and reaction. So super basic, as well as charge amplification. These all give explosive attack damage. But super basic build, nothing too crazy. We're just kind of building into making this thing hit like a truck. And when it does hit like a truck, you have a chance for it to multi-hit. And I have infinite ammo, so there's a high chance that one of my rockets are going to hit and then multi-hit, and then it just chain reactions from there. So Restored Relic, very, very good on her. If you don't mind the screen shaking, very, very good on her. As for your Reactor, you're not using skills in this build. This is not a skill damage based kind of playstyle or build, so we don't really super need to worry about matching our mounting or really what the actual Reactor is. The only thing that matters is the substats at the bottom. You want skill duration up and skill cooldown just to give you those lower cooldown and longer duration. Just put those two on. You can use whatever Reactor you want as long as you have the 2 substats. Mounting does not matter in this build. As for your external components, we're doing a 2-piece Firebrand and 2-piece Shell Crusher. The 2-piece Firebrand gives us effect range, which doesn't matter, but the biggest thing is that it gives us skill duration. Again, skill duration is just, we need that up as much as possible, and we need our skill cooldown as low as possible. And then this, the 2-piece Shell Crusher is giving us firearm attack, or fire rate. So for more fire rate, just to be able to shoot our guns faster with infinite ammo. which makes the restored relic shoot so fast, by the way. And then your usual suspects, you have your cores across the board, MP and defense all the way down. And then you have your also usual suspects of max HP, MP out of her combat. The cool thing with this is she doesn't use MP, so you can actually build this to be kind of different. You had different pieces that benefited you in different areas, such as shield or resistances or anything along those lines. You can actually benefit from those more because she isn't using MP. So a lot of the like MP out of combat, MP in combat, MP recovery modifier, none of that matters in this build. But we are still getting a max HP from this, max MP from like literally this one is irrelevant. We also have defense from this one, and then a couple of different resistances or, toxic resistance, shield, all really, really good things here. The main reason we're running these two is because we get the skill duration and we get the fire rate. As for her arcade tuning, I kind of rock it a little differently depending on what I'm doing. So like for instance, this one right here is when I play Purge, which I use this build a lot in Purge. So I just have this on like default preset. But if I did want to play some just kind of normal stuff, just kind of going around and playing like Sigma or 400s or something, and I want just more health, that's when you can kind of lean more in towards more health and more firearm attack rate and all that good stuff, just so I can activate my abilities more. But honestly, I use this actual setup for like everything because her Purge build is also like just the build I use for her throughout all content in the game. But this is basically getting us to a little bit of multi-hit as well as firearm attack. And then this one gives us no multi-hit, but we're going into firearm attack up here. And then this gives us increased max HP, more health, more survivability, and also the more skills we can use. So this is what I would rock. I would rock nothing else. This one right here. It helps with your multi-hit, which is really good with Restored Relic. And it just makes it to where you're hitting multiple rockets at the same time. So very, very good stuff. Now, as for our Inversion Reinforcement, this is going to change slightly in a couple of days with Season 3's launch. So just kind of keep that as a caveat. But we're going to be matching our focus rounds with, the respective activity we're doing or, whatever the case may be. We're playing Purge 10, which is weak to chill. So we're going to throw on chill focus rounds. We're also running selective cellular stimulation. This grants us every 30 seconds, we get a bump to our HP at different intervals and at different rates. So that's kind of what that one does. And then biodensity augmentation, when we kill something, it grants us 11% of our max HP up to 5 stacks. This basically gives us back health when we get kills. The higher we have our HP, the bigger that 11% is. So very, very good stuff. But if you didn't necessarily need the additional like ammo or damage with your ammo or whatever the case may be, you can also supplement in Adrenaline Rush right here. I am a big fan of Adrenaline Rush. I like running fast. I like running characters that run fast and are fast and up in the fight and all that stuff, which is why I like Bunny and stuff. So Adrenaline Rush is going to just keep you moving constantly, moving faster. So definitely something else you can consider if you are going a little slow. Definitely rock Adrenaline Rush. Wow, you actually skipped to the screenshots. Nah, I'm just playing. That's totally cool. I hope you enjoy the screenshots, and if you have any questions, please drop a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. All right, guys, that is the entire build. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the build. I've had a lot of fun with this one. Infinite ammo Gley is super, super fun. I've been playing this build for a very long time, and just now we're being able to like fine tune it and make it work even better than before. And shooting a Restored Relic at fully automatic and infinite ammo is just pretty silly in this game. So I enjoy this one quite thoroughly. Also, please make sure you go check out SongsOfRaze. He put together the Thunder Cage build, and he gave me permission to kind of shout him out. So definitely go check him out. Super, super cool dude. We've been talking in DMs, and he's a really cool guy. So if you are looking for really, really strong builds that are more thought process goes into them, they're not just kind of cookie cutter, copy and paste. He actually like dives into the numbers. If you guys are math people, definitely go check out Raze's channel. But I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned. On Thursday, we're live streaming over on Twitch, checking out Season 3. So come by, say hi, and I will see you guys over there. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, peace out, guys.